Solid Foundation, Israelite Academy. Solid Foundation, Israelite Academy, S.F.I.A. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And on today, my fellow brothers and sisters, family and friends, I want to talk about this movie, Black Panther. So I pulled it up, as you can see, and I want to talk about this movie. I want to talk about how many so-called black men, women, and children that is not aware of this movie, that do not know this movie has multiple subliminal messages throughout the whole entire film. And on today, I'm not here to break down the entire movie. However, I am here to make it plain to you so-called black man, black woman, and black children that you are not Africans. Okay? That's first. You are not African. This movie, Black Panther, promotes Hamitic culture. Okay? So-called black man, so-called black woman, so-called black children in the United States of America, you are not African descent. You are not Hamitic. You are not Kemetic. All right? But this is what Hollywood wants you to believe on the behalf of Black Panther. So that's why this movie was so successful. That's why this movie is doing a wonderful job, because the trickery, the treachery, the deviance that lies behind it. And who was this carried out by? You guessed it. Your so-called wicked white man. The devil that the Bible describes, better yet known as the children of Esau, so-called white man. And I want to clear some things up concerning this movie, because this ain't doing nothing but promoting Hamitic culture. This ain't doing nothing but promoting African culture. And the so-called black man, black woman, and children are not African. So if we're not African, who are we? Let's figure that out. This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. This can easily be purchased off eBay, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore. If you can't find it at your local bookstores, be sure to purchase it offline. Once again, this is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. We are going into this, and we are going to look at Ham, okay, to see what's really going on. Now, hope you guys can see it. I hope you can see it. It says Ham. Now, who is Ham? Ham was one of the sons of Noah. If you know anything about biblical times in the ancient world, Noah, which was a descendant of Shem, Noah was instructed by the Most High God to build an ark in the pre-flood days of his time, which speaks about that in Genesis chapter 6. Noah had 3 sons. Okay? Now, we're going to show you in Genesis 6 and verse 10. Because one of the sons of Noah was Ham. And we're going to cover this definition here. But before we get into this, let's go into Genesis 6 and 10. And the reason why I'm doing this, because if I don't do this, and I don't publicize this and make this aware, that you so-called Negroes in the United States of America is going to think that you're African. Why? Because the movie Black Panther promotes African Hamitic culture. It doesn't promote you so-called Negroes. It doesn't promote your true identity and culture. This is promoting Hamitic, Afrocentric culture. All right? And that's not who you are, so-called black man, black woman, and black child. So now I'm going into Genesis 6 and 10. So in the book of Genesis, it speaks of the pre-flood days, during the time when Noah lived. Now Genesis 6 and 10 says, and Noah begat 3 sons. His 3 sons was named Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Some say Japheth or Japheth. So you can see in Genesis 6 and 10, Noah's 3 sons were Shem, Ham, and Japheth or Japheth. Now out of Noah's 3 sons, we're going to look into Ham. This is Genesis 6 and 10. So let's go into the Strong's Concordance before we go to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. And let's look at the interlinear concerning Ham. Now as you can see, in Hebrew, Ham is the Hebraic number for 2526. Right here, Hebrew 2526, which can be found in the Hebrew Dictionary, Concordance 2526, which over here pronounced Ham. Now what does Ham means? Which is modern day Ham. Let's click in Hebrew 2526 to discover it. Ham, transliteration, pronunciation, Ham. 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 Okay, let's see. Ham, which is modern day Ham, how you would say it. Ham means hot. Alright? Now, the so-called white man is not going to give you the whole rundown on this term ham, which means hot, because it also means black or burnt face. That's what ham means, which we say modern day Ham. It means hot, burnt, or black face. That's what it means. Which was the second son of Noah. Ham was the second son of Noah, today known as Ham. And he was a father of the Canaanites. So it's telling you that Ham was the progenitor of the Canaanites, which are Canaan, South Africans. All right? And various people which were inhabitants of southern lands. So this is South Africa we're talking about. Who was the progenitor of South Africa? Who was the father of the Canaanites, which is South Africans? Ham, modern day Ham, which means hot, burnt face, or black. That's what it means. So we're talking about a black man, which was named Ham by his father. Right? Now, so-called Negroes, men, women, and children, we are so damn dumb as a nation of people, because the reason why I say that, because when we say the term black, we think that that includes us. You can put the term black in anything and watch how many so-called Negro men, women, and children flock to it. But you need to understand that there were many dark nations on the earth. Because when you say the word black, these so-called Negro men, women, and children over here in the United States of America, which are the true Jews, when you say the word black, they automatically associate that with Africa. Like there is no other region on the earth where black people live. So I said that to say this, because we're talking about Ham, which is modern day Ham. So in Genesis 6 and 10, Noah has 3 sons. We've seen that already, which was Shem, Ham, and Japheth, or Japheth, as you can see here. Let's focus on Shem. Not Shem, Salah, Ham. Let's go into the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Once again, this is how the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary looks. Let's go to the definition of Ham, which is Kam, which means black, burnt face. Now it says Ham. I want you to look at it closely. Because the movie Black Panther is not based on the so-called Negro man, woman, or so-called Negro child culture. That's not based on your heritage. The Black Panther is not based on the so-called Negro man, woman, and children culture and their heritage. That's based off Hamitic culture and heritage. Now Ham, let's look at it. Perhaps hot. It says perhaps hot. Perhaps mean maybe. So the scholars don't play damn games with me. Y'all know what Ham means. It means black or burnt face. But they say perhaps hot. The youngest son of Noah, as Genesis 6 and 10 tells you, Noah had 3 sons. Ham being the youngest. Born probably about 96 years before the flood. So this guy was born like 96 years before the flood took place in Genesis chapter 6. When it drowned every inhabitant out on the earth and spared 8 people. Which was Noah, his 3 sons, his 3 sons' wife, and Noah's wife. Y'all know the story. Anyway, it reads on to say that Ham was born probably about 96 years before the flood. One of the 8 persons to live through the flood, because it was 8 people in total that survived the flood days. This same man, Kam, which is Ham today, became the progenitor of the dark races. So he became, progenitor means the forefather. He became the father or the forefather of dark races. They telling you right here, there were many dark races in the ancient world. You can't only think of black and think of Africa. There were many dark races in the ancient world. There was the Arabians, which are the Ishmaelites. They was dark nation of people. The Moabites, which are the modern day Chinese dark nations of people. The Japanese, which are modern day, the Ammonites, which are modern day Japanese people, were dark nations of people. The East Indians, the Elamites, which are modern day East Indians, was dark nations of people. The Javanites, okay, the Greeks, the original Greeks were dark nations of people. If you didn't know that, the original Kittites, Cyprus, the Italians, was dark nations of people. All right, and like so forth. Assyria was dark nations of people. And last but not least, the nation of Israel, the people today of Negro and Indian descent. So there was many diverse nations of melanated people of melanation. So when you say the adjective black, do not only associate that with Africa, because there was many dark races, as you see here. So let's see which nation that Ham became the progenitor of out of the dark races. Because it said he became the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. Now, who are the so-called Negroes today? Who are the so-called Negroes today? You people that occupy this Western civilization, better yet known as the United States, who they love to call black people niggers and African Americans. You are the so-called Negroes today, the people that they love to call African Americans. And the reason why in this definition here concerning Ham, it says he became the progenitor of dark races, meaning that Ham or Ham, he became the father of dark races. But one race that he did not become the father of was you so-called Negroes. So that's letting you see that you are not descendants of Cam or Ham, you so-called Negroes today. You so-called Negro men, women, and children, you are not descendants of Cam or Ham. But let's see who are the descendants of Cam or Ham. Not you Negroes, but the Egyptians. Now, who are the Egyptians? Northeastern Africans. Who are the Ethiopians? The Ethiopians, Sudanese. Those are Africans. So you can see Northeast Africans, Egyptians, Ethiopians, those are Africans. North Africa, which are Libyans, and the Canaanites, South Africans. So Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites is the descendants of Ham, or what you say Ham today. But you so-called Negroes are not descendants of Ham or Ham. So what that's telling you, you are not African. And this movie, Black Panther, promotes African Hamitic culture. This movie promotes Hamitic African culture. The so-called white man wants you so-called Negroes, who are the true Jews, you so-called Negro men, women, and children that they love to classify as niggers of black people or African American. You are the descendants of Shem. That's why it tells you in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary concerning the definition of Ham that you Negroes are not descendants of this God, because you are not Hamitic, you so-called Negroes. You so-called Negroes are Shemitic. And that's why in Genesis chapter 6 verse 10, it tells you that Noah had 3 sons. We already covered Ham, and it says he became the progenitor of the Egyptians, Libyans, Ethiopians, and Canaanites, which are Africans, not the Negroes. So if the Negroes didn't come out of Ham, which was one of the 3 sons of Noah, which son did the Negroes come from out of? The Negroes come from out of the Shemitic bloodline. So while they're telling you that those fake ass Jewish people across the water over there in the Middle East are the true authentic Jews, no, they are not the true authentic Jews over in Palestine, Israel today. Those people classify themselves as Jewish. Ish is a suffix, which pertains to, is not the original. So they would never say they the Jews over in Palestine, Israel. These white Khazars would never tell you that they are the true biblical descendants of the Jews, because they're not. They say they are Jewish. It's the difference between Jew and Jewish. So who are the true Jews? The people of Negro and Indian descent. The people of Negro and Indian Latino descent that scatter out through the 4 corners of the earth. You are the real Jews. You are the descendants of Shem. And that's what the so-called white man is not going to tell you. But he will promote and put out a movie by using our nation of people to promote this Kemetic culture and this way of living. So you so-called black man, woman, and children that don't know you are the true Jews, that don't know you are the descendants of Shem, will go and view this thinking that this is you, when this is promoting Kemetic culture, man. That's the problem I see with this movie. You got to wake up. Now, I'm going to show you in the Bible that we are not Kemetic. We are Shemitic. And that we are the true Jews. So while you're thinking that this is us in Black Panther, those are African people. Now, don't get me wrong. They did use the true Israelites, which are the descendants of the ancient Hebrews. They did use the true Israelites, which are the true Jews, the so-called African Americans, to play Kemetic characters in the movie, if that makes sense to you. Okay? So, this is how the so-called white man makes mockery of our people. Because the so-called white man knows that you so-called Negro men, women, and children are not African. You are the true Jews or Shemitic origin. But he will use you to play Kemetic characters and promote Kemetic history and Kemetic culture. This is what he does. But I'm going to use the Bible to state my claim, to show you so-called Negro men, women, and children that this is not you. This is not your culture that's based on Black Panther. So this Black Panther movie has a dramatic effect, has been a dramatic effect on our people, because a lot of our people, which are the true Jews, are going around promoting Kemetic culture and heritage now because of this movie Black Panther. So don't get it twisted, because the people in this Black Panther movie was Israelite characters playing Kemetic culture. Now, I said it to say this. Exodus 11 and 7. Okay? Exodus 11 and 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord Yahweh does put a difference. The Most High Yahweh, he put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Now, who are the Egyptians? Pursuant to the definition of Ham in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Here, as you can see, I want y'all to see it. The Egyptians here were descendants of Ham or Ham. But you so-called Negroes are not descendants of Ham or Ham. The Egyptians is descendants of Ham or Ham. You so-called Negroes are not, and it's right in your face. So you are not Kemetic or you are not Hamitic or African. Okay? Because there's a total difference between Africans, which are Kemetic people. There's a total difference between Africans and Israelites, which are the true Jews. What do I mean? This is what I mean. Who they call so-called black people over here in the Western Hemisphere, this Western civilization, United States of America, the majority of these so-called black people over here is of Semitic descent. They are true Jews. We have Jews bloodline, man. So when they say black versus Africans, what they're telling you is that the so-called black people over here in this Western civilization, America, these, what I say so-called black, because black is an adjective. It's not a noun, it's not a person, place, or a thing. It's an adjective, last but not least, it's a color. That's not who you are. Black doesn't define you as a nation. Black doesn't define your nationality, you so-called Negroes, you so-called Negroes, man, woman, and children. Black is just a color. Your nation is Israel. And the tribe that you so-called black people come from out of is Judah. So black versus Africans. We are not Africans because Africans over here is of Kemetic origin. And you so-called black people, which are the true Jews over here, is of Semitic origin. So there's a difference between Kemetic over here on the left and Semitic over here on the right. But many of you so-called Negroes, you so-called black people, have been led to believe that you are Kemetic when you actually are Semitic. So you see the game being played on the behalf of Black Panther. They want you to believe that you are Kemetic, and that's why they push Kemetic culture and heritage in this movie. But they will use Shemitic characters that play Kemetic history. That's the deviance and the trickery and treachery of the so-called white man. You see? And it's real. So Exodus 11 and 7 says it's the difference between Egyptians, which are Africans, and Israel, which are modern-day blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. It's the difference between it. We're not the same. We're not African. So stop thinking that you're African. When you understand that you're a true Hebrew Israelite and that you're not African at all, that you're not Hamitic at all, you'll see through Black Panther like a crystal. You'll see through Black Panther like a glass, man. Because all the white man doing is trying to promote Hamitic culture on you so-called Negroes, which are the true Jews. Now, show you another verse. This is Exodus 1. Somewhere in Exodus, the first chapter. We will find it. It's a lock. I have a slight sinus problem today, but it's okay. I will be fine. So, let's look at Exodus and Exodus 1 and see, can we find it? Exodus 1 and 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt, which is Mizraim. Every man in his household came with Jacob. Now these are the 12 tribes of Israel that's being listed here. Exodus 1 and 2 states Reuben. Those are the modern day, the tribe of Reuben are the modern day Seminole Indians. The tribe of Simeon is the modern day Dominicans. The tribe of Levi is the modern day Haitians. The tribe of Judah is the modern day so-called Negroes who love to keep calling themselves Africans. Exodus 1 and 3, the tribe of Issachar is the modern day Mexicans. The tribe of Zebulun is the modern day Panamanians and Colombians. And the tribe of Benjamin is the modern day West Indies of Jamaicans. Exodus 1 and 4, the modern day Danites. That's a mystery. I believe the modern day Danites could be listed somewhere around the area of Sparta. I don't know exactly. And the Naphtali, who are the modern day people of Naphtali? The modern day people of Naphtali, they are Argentinians to Chile, basically Brazilians. Because that's a part of Brazil, Argentina and Chile. Southern part of Brazil, the southern part. Gadites are your modern day Native American Indians. Okay. The North, Central, and South Indians. Gadites. Asher is the modern day Colombian to Uruguay. So basically from Exodus chapter 1, verses 2 all the way to 4, it speaks of all the 12 tribes of Israel here. And to wrap this up in a nutshell, basically all this is the people of Negroid and Indian descent. The people of Negroid and Indian, Hispanic, Latino descent. They are the Israelites today. All right? And it speaks of in Exodus chapter 1 how they were oppressed by the Egyptians. And the Egyptians was Africans that was beating the hell out of the children of Israel during the time of the Pharaohs. So you can see this Black Panther movie, why it's promoting Hamitic culture. This movie promotes African culture. Just know that the Africans don't give a damn about you so-called Negroes over here in this Western civilization, which is the United States of America. The Africans don't give a damn about you so-called Negroes. They don't care. These Africans, in fact, we're going to show you a scripture that these Africans sold you as slaves to the white man, pursuant to the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter. So when they say black versus Africans, they're telling you that this is Shemites versus Hamites, man. The people of Shemitic descent is right here. And the people of Hamitic descent is over here. We're not Africans. But that's what this Black Panther movie promotes. To get all people to go off and start cleaving to African culture and heritage. But you got to see through the lies, you so-called Negro man, woman, and children. So the Egyptians was oppressing us. The Egyptians are Africans. And they were oppressing us in the land of Egypt. We were slaves in the land of Egypt. Okay? Now watch this. This is what the Africans said. This is Exodus 1 and 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel, which are the modern day blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Egyptians said they are more mightier than we. So what did the Egyptians say in Exodus 1 and 10? The Egyptians plainly stated, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it comes to pass that when they're falling out any war, they join also into our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of this land. So the Egyptians, which are Africans, was very afraid of the children of Israel multiplying. And they felt need to go ahead and eradicate the children of Israel before they became numerous nation of people. So this was done by the Egyptians to get rid of as many Israelites as they could before we overpowered them in the land of Egypt. So you know what the Egyptians did with your Africans? Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And those taskmasters were Egyptians, which are Africans. So while they're telling you about Black Panther, promoting African culture, promoting the Hermetic culture, just know the Africans, the Hermetic people, are the same people who oppress you so-called Negro man, women, and children during the days of the Exodus, man. So we're not falling for this bull crap. A true Israelite will go and see this movie and know damn well that, okay, we see what's being done. They trying to push that Hermetic culture on us as a nation of people. When in fact, Exodus 1:11 said that the Egyptian taskmasters afflicted us with burdens and beat the hell out of us. And they built for Pharaoh treasured cities, Panther and Ramesses. So we was building cities for Pharaoh, working our ass off in Egyptian captivity during the days of the Exodus. And then it says in Exodus 1:12, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, because they couldn't stop the Israelites from increasing. So the more they afflicted us, we grew. And they were grieved because the children of Israel. So you had Africans that was grieved that didn't like Israelites. The Africans, which are Hamitic, didn't like Shemitic people. And they never did like us. So why the hell would we support this Black Panther movie when it supports Hamitic culture? Which goes back to our enemies that suppressed us in the land of Egypt. It don't make sense. We gotta wake the fuck up, man. And excuse me for my language, but this pisses me off because all it's doing is promoting and spreading Hamitic culture and heritage. Oh, you true Jews, which are the true Israelites, which are the so-called blacks, who they love to classify as niggers and African Americans in the Western world. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. So the Africans didn't like us. But they will pick our people to promote African Hamitic culture. You see that? Exodus 1:13, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. Now what it means to serve with rigor? These Africans made us serve at our highest. What rigor means? Hebrews 65:31. Let's look at rigor. Harshness, severity, cruelty, man. That's what rigor means. Harshness, severity, and cruelty. They made us serve with rigor pursuant to Exodus 1:13. They harshly made us serve in Egypt as slaves. That's what the Africans did to the Jews in Egypt. But then you turn around and promote this, which promotes the culture of the oppressor, the culture of the enemy. Don't make any damn sense. Now watch this. Exodus 1:16. And he said, will you do the office of the midwife? This is what the Egyptians, the Africans said. Will you do the office of the midwife? What office? The birthing process, when an Israelite woman is about to birth her baby. Will you do office of a midwife to a Hebrew woman? A Hebrew woman, which are the true Jews, which are you modern day so-called African American woman, or you modern day so-called Negro woman, which are the true Hebrew woman. Will you do office to a Hebrew woman? This is what the Africans said. And you see them upon the stools. Basically, you see this Hebrew woman giving birth to a son. If her child is a Hebrew boy, then kill the child. That's what you wicked ass Africans were doing to us Jews as a nation of people. But you want us to support this. The reason why it's so easy for our people to support this, because these so-called Negroes don't know who they are today. When you find out that you are a Jew from the tribe of Judah, and that your bloodline goes back to Shemitic bloodline and not Hamitic bloodline, you will go and see this. You'll say, fuck Black Panther. Because it doesn't deal with my nation of people. And it doesn't deal with the culture and the heritage of my nation of people. Even though in this movie, they subliminally hid Hebrew culture heritage in the movie. The Egyptians were saying, when the Hebrew woman give birth to Hebrew boys, if it's a son, kill it. But if it's a daughter, then let her live, because these Africans loved our Hebrew women. All right? Now watch this. Look at Exodus 1:19. And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the midwives didn't listen to that bull crap that the Egyptians were telling them to do. The Egyptians told the Hebrew woman, when you give birth to a child, if it's a boy, kill it. The Hebrew woman was like, hell no. What you Egyptians, you Africans talking about? So in Exodus 1:19, the midwives said to Pharaoh, because the Hebrew woman, reason why we can't do this, we not going to kill our boys, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian woman. The Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian woman. The so-called black woman over here in this Western civilization in the United States of America, you true Jew woman, you so-called black woman are not as the Egyptian woman over here. You're not the same. So stop saying that you're African. You so-called black woman, men, and children are the true Jews of Shemitic origin. You're not Kim. You're not African. And that's what this movie promotes. African culture, Hamitic culture. They're trying to push that on our people. Because the Hebrew woman is not as the Egyptian woman. See that? Exodus 1:19. Okay? Leviticus 20:26 is the last one I'm going to pull. Leviticus 20:26. If I don't have anything extra. Leviticus 20:26. And ye shall be holy unto me. This is what the Most High said, Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, the God of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord Yahweh, am holy, and have served you from other people, that ye should be mine. So the Most High served us. What does that mean? He separated us from heathen nations. He separated you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans from heathen nations. But in this particular lesson, he's serving us from other people. Well, who are those other people? Heathens. When you think of a heathen, you think of an African, because Africans are heathens. See? Africans over here are heathens. Hamitic people, Kemetic people are heathens. They are not Shemitic. They are Kemetic. And anyone that's not Shemitic, they are not the chosen descendants of this Bible, man. If you're not Shemitic, then you're not the chosen people that the Bible speaks of. The Shemitic people are blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. But who are the other people such as the heathen? Africans, Kemetic people. And that's what this movie promotes. African, Kemetic people. It don't promote Shemitic origin, Shemitic history. It doesn't promote Shemitic culture. It promotes Hamitic culture. That's the problem I see with this movie. All right? So we got to be servant from other people. Yes. So the so-called blacks, which are the true Jews, are not you Africans, which are Hamitic, Kemetic descent. We look better than you too. Okay? And we don't practice your customs, because our culture and customs don't go back over here to the Africans, Kemetic culture. Even though this is how they put this in Black Panther, because when you see the customs of the Kemetic people in this movie, you can see that the Kemetic people, they carried the large plates within their lips, the large dish, the large plates in their lips. You so-called people of Shemitic origin, you didn't do that. You can see too that the Hamites, the people of Hamitic descent, the people of Ham, their women, as you can see here, their women shave their heads, man. You see that? Why shave heads are an iconic African hair tradition. Notice what that says. All right? Notice what that says. Wait a minute. Let's go back to it. Let's see. Can we drag it? Notice that says African hair tradition. This is a tradition that goes back to Africa. That goes back to ancient Kemet, which Kemet comes from Kam, which is modern day Ham. Remember, concerning the Compact Bible Dictionary, you so-called Negroes are not descendants of Ham because he didn't become your progenitor, pursuant to the current Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. So this is a tradition of Kam, the Africans. So I don't want you real Jews, you true Jews, which is of Shemitic descent. I don't want you watching this movie and then going to shave your damn hair off thinking that you're African. All right? Because this is of Kemetic tradition. And this is not a Shemitic tradition. This is a Kemetic tradition. Many of us tie woman's mane, especially long flowing locks, to femininity. And that's what you Hebrew women are supposed to do. You're supposed to take heed in your heritage. Take heed of your culture. Because the Bible don't tell you so-called Negro women, which are the true Jews, to go and shave your damn heads bald. Because that's not your culture. That's not your customs. That's African customs to shave their head bald. How do you know that? I will show you in the scripture, man. 1 Corinthians 11:6. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. Now, what is shorn? Shorn is shaven. That means that's the modern day term for shave. For if the woman be not covered, because a woman's supposed to cover her head when she pray or prophesy. But if her head is not covered when she prays or prophesies, let her also be shorn. Let her cut her hair off. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. So it is a shame for a Hebrew Israelite woman to shave all of her hair completely off. So this is a shame. Because that's what you Hebrew women, which are the true Jews, you did not keep these customs here. The African woman on the left-hand side did that bull. You didn't do that nonsense. You grew your hair. You true Hebrew Israelite woman. You so-called black Hebrew Israelite woman. You so-called Negro Hebrew Israelite woman, which are the true Jews. You never shaved your heads. You didn't do what the Kemetic nations did. You didn't do what the Africans did. But they're going to get you to do this in Black Panther. They're going to get you to do this by having you to believe that this is your culture. That ain't your damn culture. We show you in the Bible that you Hebrew Israelite woman, that's a damn shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven. Let her hair be covered. Let her be covered. Let you have hair. So many of us tie a woman's mane, especially long flowing locks. Yeah, you Hebrew woman, continue to grow your long flowing locks. Continue to grow that because that represents femininity. And it says, as such, a woman with a bald or closely shaved head may draw undue attention. You damn right. You damn right. A woman with a bald or closely shaved head might draw undue attention. You damn right. Because that ain't how our Hebrew women rocked. That ain't how we rocked and rolled back then. You understand? So of course that's going to draw undue attention. You know why? Because that's not the Hebrew Israelite woman's customs. That is Hamitic customs. But you so-called Negro woman don't know you are the true Hebrew Israelite. You don't know you the true Jews. So you'll go and follow after this bullshit Hamitic culture thinking that's you. But that ain't what the Bible told you to do. The Bible said if you shave your head, it's a damn shame for a woman to be shaven. Let her be covered. Let you have a sufficient amount of hair. That's what it's talking about. because that ain't how we roll. You see that? But look what it says right here. But in some African cultures, this is African culture. This is African culture. African goes back to Kemet or Kemetic, which Kim comes from Kam, which is Ham, which became the progenitor of the Africans, but he didn't become the progenitor of the Negro. So this is not your custom. This is African Kemetic customs, culture, to shave their damn heads like this. So don't you so-called Negro black woman, don't you so-called African-American black woman, go and see this right here and start shaving all your goddamn hair off. Because you better recognize who you are. You better know that you're an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. And you better know that your nation is Israel and that you're a descendant of Semitic origin and not a descendant of Hamitic origin. You better know that. Because if you don't, you're going to be sucked in by this movie to believe that these are your customs. These are your heritages. This is your culture of living. But it's not. What's being displayed in this Black Panther movie is African culture. This ain't got nothing to do with Semitic culture. A woman with bald or closely shaven heads holds religious and cultural significance. Yeah, that's the African culture, not Semitic culture, not Israelite culture. See all that? That's not you black woman. That's not you so-called black woman. Those are, you so-called black woman are the true Jews, which come from out of Shem bloodline. You didn't come from out of Ham bloodline. So what you seeing right here is Hamitic culture. The Egyptians, all this is Hamitic culture. They got a damn thing to do because our people didn't roll like that. The Israelites, we didn't roll like that because we're not of Hamitic origin. We are Shemitic. And if you still thinking we are Hamitic origin, the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary tells you that Ham became the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. So you Negroes are not descendants of Ham. So stop keeping Hamitic customs. Stop practicing Hamitic culture. Stop doing this bull right here because that's not who you are. You know, and I can go on and on, man, because many of our women today, they do this, man. You know? They do this because they think, now this looks like a, let me see who she is. South Sudanese. See that? So that's an African because that's a South Sudanese. See, Africans do that. Let me see who it is. This is Zimbabwe, American actress that played in Black Panthers. So Africans will do this. But let me tell you who are not African. See here, actress Sanaa Lathan, y'all probably know her. See, this is an Israelite woman, man, a Judite. But many of our Israelite women go and shave their heads thinking that they're African, but they're not. See, this is a Jamaican, an Israelite woman from the tribe of Benjamin. But she's shaving her head. You see that? India Ari, you see that? Because many of our people, you know, they think they Africans, man. So they go and shave all their hair off. Not knowing that this is tradition of Kemetic. And it's not a tradition of you so-called Negro women, you so-called black women who are true Jews. And I can go on and on about this movie, but I felt led to share that on the behalf of Black Panther. This movie promotes Hamitic heritage and culture. It does not promote Shemitic heritage and culture. Even though they hear a lot of Shemitic subliminal messages in this movie, because it is a lot of subliminal hidden Hebrew Israelite messages in this movie, man. Like the chariots, you know. Like this guy right here. Y'all know what I'm talking about. This guy right here, you know, actually was acting as the true Hebrew Israelites while everybody else was acting as the Hamites, if you didn't know that. Because in the end of this movie, almost at the end, now if you haven't seen this movie, I don't want to spoil it for you. So if you haven't seen this movie, you might want to come back to this video. But if you don't seen the movie, this guy right here tells this guy that he'd rather die than be a slave. He says he'd rather die than be a slave because death is better than being a slave. And this guy right here tells this guy that. Because they're telling you that in the book of Joel chapter 3, that the Hamites, which are the Africans, sold the Israelites. And some Israelites, they said that it was better to die than be slaves of the Africans, because the Africans enslaved our people. That's what they're not telling you. So this movie has a lot of dark, deep, subliminal breakdowns. Like when they was mentioning Akanda, in this movie they was talking about that glorious place, Akanda, that was really representing the kingdom of heaven, man. You see, there's a lot of subliminal things in this movie. Because it's Black Panther, because when you think about the Black Panthers, you think about Henry P. Newman. And as you can see, this guy right here sitting on the throne, I can show you Henry P. Newman sitting on the throne that's similar to that you see in the background. You know? But it's a lot of subliminal messages in this movie. If you want a subliminal breakdown on Black Panther, just be sure to type in, look for other links concerning the Black Panther movie breakdown that Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters already have done on this movie. I ain't got time for that for the sake of time. But I thought I'd share that with you. Yeah, this movie right here, Black Panther, all it's doing is promoting Hamitic heritage and culture, man. And it was set up to detour the true Israelites from their heritage, their culture, and their history. So you can cleave to Hamitic culture instead of cleaving to Shemitic culture. And they pick Shemitic characters because, you know, this is a so-called, they pick Israelites to play comedic characters, man. So I thought I'd put that before you, brothers and sisters, on the behalf of Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. Hope this lesson benefited you in some way. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with your brothers and sisters. And tell me, you know, what you think about it, man, concerning this video. So until next time, peace to the family and friends. Till next time, Ka Allah Yahweh, Shema Yahweh, and Shalom.